It's not in doing extraordinary things once. It's about doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency.
सोल्जर का लड़का तो सोल्जर ही बनेगा.
My mother didn't want two people from the same family. How a Chinese bamboo grows. So if you put that seed, it will not grow for several years.
Chinese bamboo is like we dhal gaye din, the one which we did in Japan.
Similar. If we are not embracing technology today, we will be out of business. For sure. You know how it feels to resign? It's like a cliff jump. You were there on top of the cliff to jump.
You had sleepless nights before resigning.
If I'm working for a bank, then you could talk about the stories the way I tell right now. I used to work for 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're a businessman, you could say that I made this.
Two, one wife, one kid, mother telling
Sorry,
you.
one wife. Only that was permissible.
What kind of license you are holding? Marriage license I also hold.
So you could have a marriage license, you could have a driving license, but I have, what I have is, I have a camel riding license. Saudi borders, from there till Dubai, I rode a camel.
Welcome to CA Unplugged, the podcast where we discuss about the influential impact or inspiring stories of the chartered accountants, finance professionals, and business leaders who made an impact to the world. Today, I have a very special guest and a dear friend, a partner from Dominic and Partners who is sitting with me, and I know him from the days of Japan. No, I had never lived in Japan, but we met during the trip of Japan and then we bonded. Today, he's with me on the podcast. Welcome, Dominic.
Thank you so much, Jay.
How?
It's my absolute pleasure to be here with you. And I'm looking forward for the exciting conversation to hold. But before that, let me congratulate the newly minted chairman of the ICAI Dubai chapter and wishing you all the very best for the times to come.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I'll try my best. Now, I'm meeting you after a long time. And
Right.
after Japan, we met for a couple of times and I heard about it. Let me start from there and then I'll come to other side of the story.
Sure.
During the trip, you told me you were born, brought up in a family which was serving our country in army.
Right.
I have a question always for you. In Japan, I never asked you because we were enjoying.
Okay, feel free.
Yeah. Today, let me ask you, and that might be the question from many. We have seen in movies how exactly the discipline and the culture is in the armies. How was your childhood in that environment?
Right. Yeah, I'll brush up the memories. To be honest, it wasn't harsh, but I would term it was a lot more firm. So, as you rightly mentioned, due importance was given. I was often reminded about the importance of discipline, punctuality, sense of responsibility, quick thinking. Yeah, that's something which I was punished also a few times because it was always told that you got to hear, think fast, and act fast. Yeah, those were the words. So yes, it wasn't that loose, but then today when I look back, I have immense gratitude towards them to have um, given me such kind of an environment. And maybe that made me the kind of person which I'm here today. So yeah, I remember about it deeply and with a lot of gratitude.
Tell me one thing. I know you are a free bird. You always want that independence. Now you have that gratitude. Do you have that feeling that no, that time it was too harsh on you being in a disciplined environment in an army family, and now it's fine. It helped you, but that time, as a child, what is the feeling of a child?
Openly speaking, yeah, there were few attempts of rebellion, but as you know, all those would be suppressed. So you can't exactly. But then again, it's not just about the army background. I think the generation we were in, we never had the kind of liberty what our generation, our kids have today, right? So you ask for, if you have ask for 10, you may get 2. So even we all grew up in the similar kind of system. So I don't know whether it is about that or about the time what we lived in. But then yes, but then the point was you can't do. I couldn't have done much more than that. But then at that time I had a problem. But today when I look back, yes, I think they did it for our own good.
and you feel that you have achieved that, that actually helped in your transformation journey from where you were and today where you are. I have seen that transformation. That is something coming from that discipline of from your childhood.
Definitely yes. What I honestly believe is discipline and persistence, which was instilled right from childhood, has gotten into my personality. Now, at times we look when we work in corporates, or the kind of pressure, the kind of pressure what we are in. Unless we have that persistence to stay put and to deliver, you may have the tendency to quit. Right? Once you are made stronger with strong determination, I think today when I look back, if you ask me what's the best quality of yours which made you successful, I would say my persistence to stay put and to deliver. So I was taught, and I honestly believe this, it's not in doing extraordinary things once. It's about doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency, right? So your situations could get tougher, but once you stick around and keep on to your discipline and consistency, I believe the tough will start get going.
uh, Talking about consistency, I heard and कि शोल्डर का लड़का तो शोल्डर ही बनेगा.
Hmm.
The kid of shoulder should be a shoulder. Do you have that pressure when you are growing up that yes, you have to also go and serve in the army because you went into a different side of business?
Partly you're right. And I think up until fifth standard, uh, I was asked to go and join a Sainik school by my dad. But then it was, I think I also took an admission, but from there I was withdrawn. It was my mother. My mother didn't want two people from the same family. I think she was quite done. So essentially, I was having that thought. Even I was having that thought because when you're a small child, your dad is your hero when he comes in uniforms or stuff like that. But however, having said that, after that, I decided not to. Um, I mean, my dad also at a later stage took a voluntary retirement. He came out, then he started some business. So that's a big story. I mean, that's where my business sense started getting in. So he did some business, but then he miserably failed because the typical characteristics of coming from forces, you will be very straightforward, but the outside world is not that straightforward. So you have all the chances to be, to be deceived. So he gotten into something like that. So which changed our life 360-degree. So I still remember my dad telling me, I've lost a lot of money and maybe I won't have much to give you, but what we will ensure is the best education will be provided to you and you'll have to pick it up from there. So yeah, so right from there, so you hear, you listen. So the best. So I had that intention in my mind that I got to make money, but since I'm not from a business family or have such ideas, I don't know but have to. Right. All what we know is you have to, but you don't know how to do it. So it was a desire. I want to do something. So it's about doing something and becoming great. Right. That's as a boy. So this desire was there, but then didn't know since I didn't know what to do. So I grew up. But as I grew up and I studied and with a lot more of exposure, meeting a lot more people, yes, slowly things started sinking in. And that is where the desire became a dream. And from dream, it became a reality.
From desire to reality, tell me something, what sparked? Your mother thought that I don't want two people from the army. That was the trigger point to get into business. Or your father losing the money in when he was doing the business. That triggered or that fueled the fire that no, I will show that how exactly business can succeed in our family or generations as well. Mother love or father losing money there in the business.
I would say it was mix of all, but right from childhood, I had a feeling that I'm going to do something great, but I don't know how and why. Maybe others didn't believe, but I always believed that I was going to do something better. So I didn't want to settle for anything less. You know what an interesting story? Like as a child, the Pope, uh, you know, so he was visiting Kerala, so he was getting a lot of attention. Everybody was going. So going and meeting him. And so I said, I want to become pop now.
Hmm.
with this attention, I mean, that is what I wanted to become. I didn't want to settle for. So then later on, I realized to become a pope, you have to start from being a small priest. And I said, it's a long way, and you may or may not. So it's a very funny thing, but still, my parents sometimes, or my siblings, spoke me saying that. But then I thought I wanted to become something. So maybe from there, this idea of I want to make more money, maybe being in forces may not give me enough money. I've seen that. So maybe that is what made me think like that at that time. But I didn't know the economics of doing a business at that time. But the fact was, it was about making money. Maybe we'll discuss over the conversation how those thought process changed later when I really came to know about or learned about the art of doing business.
From Pope to finance, I mean, you wanted to, till now, I can understand you wanted to be famous, you wanted to make money. Pope inspired you because you can see people following you. Finance is a boring profession. Trust me, many people believe that's a boring profession. You went into finance and particularly into banking, right? What made that change?
So, first of all, I don't agree to the point that it's boring because for me, all the subjects were boring. You know what? In physics, finding the oscillation of motion didn't excite me. Neither the Avogadro numbers in chemistry or the periodic table or mixing it didn't excite me.
Math
Or,
history.
yeah, or dissecting a frog didn't excite me. I mean, either. So, when I started reading about business studies or economics or marketing, I don't know, it's naturally I started getting attracted towards it. So, somewhere you say like if something is meant for you, so maybe even if I don't read everything in so much in deep, you'll start feeling that, blogs are just falling into place automatically. So with this subject, that started happening. So for my 12th, 11th and 12th, I took commerce. And for the BCom, like Bachelor of Commerce, I was second in the university. So it was like a rank. So like so I knew that this is, and that too, with a lot of activity is going, I mean, not like 100% focused on studies or something. So it's just because it's an inherent passion and I had the liking. So that's why I said, when you said that I would object, it's not boring. That's very creative. I think along with business, when you mix finance and business and marketing, the overall business, that's how it is run. So if you know how it's run, then it's dynamic than boring is what I would categorize.
So I take it from you, finance is not boring. Now let's talk about finance. You started your career into banks, as we talked about. Tell me your starting journey in banks when you went. How did you feel and what you exactly did?
Right. So when I was doing my MBA, I considered myself to be very creative. So I was more of a strategist. So I enjoyed doing that. So I did all my projects with FMCG because at that time, all the um, from my college at least, the top ones were going for FMCG because that was considered to be more strategic in nature. So I wanted to attend the interview for HLO. So got selected. The very day, the morning it was to happen, they said like only people with 1 year experience need to sit. So I was extremely disappointed. Then I got into Cadbury's and Nestle. But then the place what they offered was, as you know, the remote places in northern India. So I'm considering myself to be, to be in proper in Delhi or so. So hence I rejected, and I was under the pressure of, because you don't have the luxury to just to reject the offers. So from the placement cell, the heavy, the pressure was coming in. That is when Citibank came in. So Citi at that time was like HL, if it's the mecca of FMCG, Citibank was the mecca of banking. So it was like a prestige to join Citibank. So it was that passion. Okay, something different, something nobody else can achieve. So I have to do that. So luckily I got selected, and that's where the banking journey started in my life. But then once I started liking it. It's the very fact that you are a Citibanker also gave you a lot of respect, a lot of So that was great. Then from City, I learned a lot. City made or transformed a lot of my personality. It groomed us. It taught us a lot of stuff, and the managers which we had were amazing. So from Citibank, I moved to HSBC. That was a different culture. So that's the way you can understand the DNA of the organizations changes. So when you move across, you'll find a drastic difference. Yet they're extremely professional in nature. So from there, I moved to ABN AMRO. That was again different. Royal Bank of Scotland. That was different. But across the multinationals, there are a lot of things to learn. How strong they are on the processes, because it's on the processes what the businesses are built. Because irrespective of the fact that whichever part of the world they operate, because they operate across culture, right? The Indian culture is completely different in China, right? So across culture, the process is strong, so they give the same results. So a lot of again, as I stated earlier, how to handle pressure, because you would be given deadlines, you will be given targets, you will have team, you have attrition rates, so you have to manage your P&L, you have to recruit, you have to train them, you have still every month you have to deliver, irrespective of what your shortfalls are. You have to deliver the same numbers. So all this working under pressure, being that go-getting attitude, all these things are taught by these esteemed world-class institutions, which I was extremely lucky to be part of.
Disciplined during your childhood, go-getter approach in city, something you touched upon, and I will again bring that back. You said initially you were getting rejected in your applications before city came in, when you were making the applications, and still when I see the younger kids on the block, they also get rejections initially when they are qualified, and after qualifications, like you said, 1 year of experience, at least somewhere I have to start, then
Right.
only I'll get that experience.
Right.
And if everyone starts looking for that experience, who will give the fresher the start?
Right.
What was your feeling that time, that you said you were disappointed, but cut to when you see it today, what message you will give to those freshers who are out in the market and still facing the same challenge of companies looking for 1 year experience? What is the message you want to give today to them to motivate, because that they also feel sometimes disheartened? The message from your experience, what you felt then and today.
Right. Um, okay, I'll tell a small example before I come to the point. Like the best example which I could cite could be, the how Chinese bamboo grows. It's called moso. It's a species. So if you put that seed, it will not grow for several years. You won't see it sprouting, right? So let's say you're a farmer. You've been pouring water for 5 years.
Chinese bamboo is like we dhal gaye din, the one which we did in Japan.
Similar. Exactly the one which grows taller. So it doesn't grow for years. Think if you are a person who are pouring water, 4 years, nothing is happening and nothing has visibly sprouted. Would you still put water?
I doubt.
That's the challenge. You know what this bamboo does? It's a very strategic plant. What it does is it knows the height which it's going to achieve. So all these years, it's making its root underneath. It's going deep and broad. The day it's ready to sprout, it comes up. Within a matter of weeks, it will achieve its height. So, what we have to learn, I don't want to advise, what we have to do is to draw a parallel and understand. Initially, yes, there would be hardships, there would be challenges. We will have to learn more, we will have to gain more experience, which will support the height or the height of success which we are going to achieve. So initially, it doesn't really matter. Maybe you get dejected. Doesn't matter. It's an attitude within, right? How you're going to show in an interview that how committed you are. Again, from the numerous interviews which I take to my organization, what I realize is sometimes the younger generation get too ambitious. I had a kid who came. He had just completed his articleship. So he asked me one question. You know what was it?
What?
If I join your organization, when can I become a partner? Right?
Uh-huh.
So I was literally taken aback, quite ambitious, but at the same time, that's not the kind of question which we should be thinking about. I'm not saying not to have it, but idea should be how much to gain. How much more experience can I gain? Because what we study, any certificate, what we have is the basic. Whether you are a CA or ACC or CPA, that's the basic or the bare minimum for you to have. Now starts the real game. How much are you aware of the industry? The, I mean, a successful or experienced person will know maybe 20 or 30 different or other way of doing things, right? So you would have learned one way of doing things. Through experience, you gain the other best 10, 20 different options. So until we are equipped to learn that, we should not be thinking of achieving that height, but it's a target. So basically, what youngsters should have good mentors, right? Whom they could uh, ask for advices, with whose advices they could, ask for continuous learning within, along with the experiences. And I believe today in this modern world where everything is getting disrupted, right? The economic disruptions are there, technological disruptions are there. I think a few years from here, I don't know how many years I can quantify it, but technology may disrupt the way I do business, right? With um, with blockchain as a technology, I will just randomly throw a thought.
Mhm.
Think where all the stakeholders are in the same ecosystem, right? In a blockchain. So let's name them. Like that's the government or the tax authorities, the clients, the suppliers, the
Customers.
banks, right? All of them are in the same ecosystem. And we have a smart contract there which is licensed to access everybody's portals, everybody's statements or statement of accounts. Then what is audit? Press of a button, right? The
Automated.
blockchain cannot be changed. So that is sacrosanct. So press of a button, an audit can happen. And that probably could be more reliable. So how would we do business?
But when you think this can be a live thing to see it, this is something which everyone's dreaming of. What is the time period you think? Yes, this can come live, Jay. 4 years, 5 years, a decade max.
Mm, I mean, that's the most difficult thing to predict. However, we are in the right direction so that everybody pretty much will come into the same ecosystem. That is for sure. I can't predict exactly when it would happen. But one thing I know, if we are not embracing technology today, we will be out of business for sure. It's not just about our business. Every single profession will get affected. But unless and until you are embracing the technology and you try to master it, and again, there is no fixed book which can tell you how to do it. It's your creativity as to where you want to position yourself to be relevant even at that situation. Okay, let me again throw you a further more crazy thought
Mhm.
with artificial
Uh,
intelligence. I mean, now it has gotten, everybody started using it, right? Think of a situation where AI takes over and disrupts the businesses. What is going to happen is all of us are going to be irrelevant from a professional perspective. So essentially, you don't have a job to do, which basically means you stops generating income, right?
Correct.
Which essentially will lead to, at some point, a, you have a common, a kind of I mean, kind of a income,
In
right, should come in, or someone should pay it, right? So the wealth, as we learn in economics, cannot be wealth can neither be created nor could be destroyed. That's what we learn, right? So what happens? A pyramid comes in, right? The wealth slowly starts moving upwards. So underneath, there are people. Even if you don't want to work, you don't have any work. Robots have taken over your work. So think of a situation. So demigods are going to be created right at the top. Who owns the software, or who owns the robots, or who's driving that? And we have humans, which is having a fixed ration for food or cloth, or I don't know. I'm just throwing it just wild
no,
thought.
I understand.
If AI is not checked, maybe it's a crazy thought today. If it's unchecked, like Elon Musk says, it can lead into such kind of a situation which can further create anarchy. So technology, the moment, if I'm the way I'm praising technology, there are also, if it's not checked and not directed in the right direction, can create a lot of confusions in this world. But however, I'm sure somewhere some wise people would come in and try to restrict it. But then we should be equipped we should be conversant with the technology, what that is developing.
I love, I mean, your talk on technology, being a banker as well. You were banker, and I've seen people in the finance and banking to turn away from technology, saying it's a difficult part to understand. But I love you understand blockchain and AI. How do you feel if I say that technology has to be embraced, but is there a fear factor between the people who does not want to adapt it? Like, yes, we are talking about a segment which will go unemployed, and they are not upskilling as well, with a fear that this technology is difficult, I cannot adapt to it. Is there a real fear there?
There could be a fear factor, but irrespective of the fact whether you have fear or not, it is inevitable that you have to be a master in technology. So if you are someone who is fearful about the technology, if you don't know about the technology, you may take a little bit more time to understand it. I think it's just that, right? Today, the kids, the small baby which is born, if you just give a mobile phone, it will try to open it or it will
It
press
does
it,
everything with the mobile.
right?
I have seen a small kid, a friend's kid. I was sitting at his home and he was watching a YouTube. Okay, ad comes. He knows how to skip. And it's a 4-year kid, small kid sitting there watching, lying on the bed, and he knows how to skip the ad. How to change the, I mean, screens. I was amazed. I never knew till the time I was 18. But these kids are knowing technology. You are right on that part. That
So I
I'm seeing.
think with every single generation, I think some innate, software is also coming together. My daughter, my eldest one,
Hmm.
I'm directing her towards our profession. But now, her strong points, she's a developer. She develop apps.
Wow.
So I said, I'm not, I know, I said, it's fine, it's good. The way I said, you have to be good in technology as well. But I said, primarily, we are, accountants. But you can, so that's where I'm trying to, but I mean, if she's really interested in technology, if she can freely go. But I'm saying, as a father, the way you said, everybody have certain interests, right? Somewhere you try to, so I'm also trying to lobby her to come into our profession. But as we speak, she's sitting there and making some application. So, so I'm saying, so for the new generation, they're ordinarily into it, but for our generation or the other people, I think we should spend time, we should spend money in upskilling on technology, and it's a brutal fact that if we don't, we will be left out, and that would be more fearful than the fear of technology itself.
True. I mean, not to fear. s- Let's spend some time on the technology learning or upskilling. But I remember, and during our period which we have spent together, you were talking about one businessman who gave you some life lesson or lesson, and which transformed you. What was that lesson, and what exactly that story is all about? A businessman in your banking career where you interacted and found something valuable which transformed you.
See, the banking has taken me places. I've been traveling to Europe. I've been managing clients there, in Africa, in India. I've met numerous people, and the most common factor was all of them were successful. Because unless they were successful and if they never had money, then there was no business for me to do with them. So essentially, I met all successful people. But one thing in common I realized was success is rarely accidental. Very rarely it goes to a wrong person. So there has to be certain recipes which makes us a successful person, which is I was also exactly interested to identify because
Everyone, I
because
myself.
because you got to be successful, right? So but one thing which I observed in common was the kind of dedication which they have still to do business. When I say still, because I know the kind of money what they have. When you know that, despite having this much of wealth, still they are interested to come early morning and meet to discuss about how to grow your wealth, about managing their businesses, traveling. If they are today in this continent, next day morning there'll be another continent. But there are few generations can't even dry up the kind of wealth they have. But still the passion to learn about that business. I'm saying it goes from let's say a trader in rice, the moment he takes the rice like this with his hand and if he puts it down, he will tell you which season this crop happened, where it happened. So to that
By touch
detail,
of it.
yes, just touching and just putting it down like this, he'll say this is from September,
And
this
we've
is from
seen it
this.
them
I've
do.
seen seen them doing
Oh,
it. So I'm like, how do you do it? Because that's the passion towards it, and that's why they are successful. But then uh, the kind of dedication what an older generation had, I doubt whether we have it today. Even when I'm speaking, sometimes we also get complacent, right? So we also stop running the same kind of thing which we used to do earlier. In certain ways, that's laziness. But I've never seen that. I'll tell you, one rich, very rich guy in Dubai. I still remember one Thursday evening. He called me back. I said, so I really wanted to meet you. There's some kind of thing which we have to immediately do. He said, okay, Dominic, come tomorrow. So then I remember, oh God, tomorrow is Friday, right? So I said, I gently reminded him.
that time Friday was supposed to be a
At
holiday.
that time, Friday was the holiday. So I gently reminded him, sir, tomorrow is apparently Friday. Maybe we should do it on Sunday. He was just a little rude to me. I mean, what's wrong with you? You young boys, what's wrong with you guys? I'll be there tomorrow at 9 o'clock. If you are free, feel free to come. I'll be waiting for you in office. I'm like, if you don't have a problem, who am I to have a problem, right? So 9 o'clock, I was there. But I'm saying they had the luxury to tell me even to come next month, doesn't matter. But someone coming on a Friday to meet, to discuss, he said, this is important for me, right? So that kind of attitude, I think we should also imbibe. The kind of passion with which they drive the business, I think we should also imbibe. If you do that, if you do half of what those successful people do, I think we would also be successful.
One thing which I am observing in the discussion is at every phase of life you are learning something, be it discipline from your father, be it continuous approach in your city bank approach, go-getter approach, or learning from the businessman or wealthy businessman you met, and you saw that yes, there has to be a, you have to continue doing it irrespective of being lazy. That is something which you learn from businessmen. And you are a banker.
Yes.
And you are minting money, right?
Mhm.
Since you are minting money, my question is, now you are into business. What made you go into business? Banker were making money. Bankers are making money, and you went into it. What was your? When you decided, what was going inside you? How did family react?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I've told you, I've shared with you that I had the desire to do business. But once you start working, it it gives you a lot of comfort. The biggest difficulty or the challenge is to get out of your comfort zone. You know how it feels to resign, and when you know that I'm going to resign, I'm going to start something. It's like a cliff jump. You were there on top of the cliff to jump.
You had sleepless nights before resigning, taking that decision.
Yeah.
Sleepless nights. Should I not?
It's not that I never resigned from a job, but that was always having an offer letter in hand to join another
Correct.
one. But this time around, it was not. I know this is the end of my banking career, and there's no return. So when you know that in mind, this is like the jump standing on the big rock. You want to jump, but that initial inhibition, that fear, that's quite natural, which everybody would have. But yes, for me, I did not tell anyone in advance what I'm going to do. I resigned. Then I called my family and said, it was a gentle intimation as to what I'm going to do. But everybody was shocked. They asked, why are you doing it? So even my mother gave a comment. Business is not meant for you and your dad. Because she linked, you guys are so naive, you guys will get cheated. But then business is not about being cheated. Business is not about cheating anyone. It's about with a disciplined approach and with a cautious approach, with certain amount of de-risking. Still, it's a good thing to do, right? You don't have to. So the good thing is in business. I mean, coming back to why did you do it? Yeah, being your own boss. That's a totally different feeling.
Being your own boss,
Yes.
or the pain that father was not able to succeed, let me do it and make it successful, was the pain that helped you to go into business.
I said those pain created that desire and dream. Now, when you're making it a reality, now you ask, why should I do it now? You have the comfort, you're making money, but still, why should you do it? Then you feel like that's why the differences. I mean, over the period, it evolves, right? So you have to be you're on your own, right? You never have to justify anything to anybody else. Only ones whom you have to justify are the clients, and if you really take care of them, it doesn't really matter. So what I thought was, be it in the banking or be it in my business, I have to take care of my clients, and here I will do it well. And when you know that if you really work till late or if you work on Fridays or Saturdays, or it doesn't really matter, you're doing it for yourself. You're creating a legacy. Now, the biggest thing, I'll tell you one more thing. I've also in childhood, there's another thing which pondered in my mind. Why did instead of going to forces, if my dad had a business, I could have just taken it over, right? That's the simplest, easiest thing I could have had. So today, when I was telling to my to Vinita, my wife, very well. So I told why I want to do it as, let's say, if I'm working for a bank at a certain age, you retire. Then you could talk about the stories the way I tell right now. I used to work for one, two, three, four. If you're a businessman, you could say that I made this, right? So there's a sense of of pride in saying I created something, than saying I was part of something. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a proud feeling to say I made that, right? I made this company. So then I can give an option to my kids. If you want to take it over, you can. If you want to do something better, then always welcome. They can do and go and do it. But to give that option, I think for me it was a matter of pride to create something of significance, which I could say that that's my signature.
That's your signature.
Yeah.
A little personal.
Sure.
How, when you decided, you were blessed with three princes, lovely princes. I met all three of them. How many kids that time you had when you decided to get into this entrepreneurial journey or business journey?
One.
One. Two, one wife, one kid. Mother telling
Sorry,
you.
one wife. Only that was permissible.
One wife. You are in Dubai, right? So I have to be very specific. One wife, one kid. And your mother said when you were going into, you and your father can never do business, right? Completely personal. Did you again rethink of, no, I'm making a wrong decision because mother who supported all the way, that statement is coming from your mother?
Not really. I mean, okay, no. Another side of my personality is I'm very impulsive. And if I take a decision, and that's the end of it, and I take a decision and I stand by it. And I'll ensure that it's becoming a success. That's me. So for me, my mantra in life is if you start something, leave no stone unturned. You did everything possible and still you failed. Sorry, you can't help it. I don't consider that a failure. But without proper efforts, if you fail, that's a miserable failure to have. So I'll tell you what I did. So now, coming back to Vinita, so she was quite scared to start a business. So what I told her is, what's the biggest fear when someone says, no, I don't want to do it? I mean, if you really think, the biggest fear is nothing but, what if I fail, right? That's a question which everybody will ask before taking anything major. And someone who cannot convince themselves will say, oh, no, I don't want to do it. So I still remember what I told Vinita. If it fails, it's on me. If we succeed together, right? I'm here to take the blame, right? So I'll be blamed. Yeah, it's not meant for you. That's what we'll hear. Doesn't matter. So just to ensure that, so since I have the fear, it's a very good thing for us to have. Fear is a very good thing. It's a very good motivator. So it made me work a lot more. After working in good positions in banks, you know what? I went door to door with my visiting cards to approach them with my services. And believe me, I got a lot of clients. Wherever we met, the owners, the stakeholders, they're still my clients after the numerous years. We are in touch. So when you've done a grassroots level, and initially, okay, again, when we started, We never had employees, right? Me and Vanita, we used to do it. We used to do entry. We used to do the printing. We used to do the binding. I used to deliver the reports, right? So we did everything grassroots level. We didn't want to spend, something additionally. But slowly it came a time where we can't handle the work anymore. There were days where we slept just for 2 hours, and we had to go early morning because there were deadlines. Because I always believed in creating delighted customers. If I commit a deadline, I have to stick by it. So we have done that. Then we said, like, no, we can't handle it. Then still we did not at that time take a office. One of our bedroom we converted into office. Then we started from again. Continued from there. Then it's after that. Then I was keeping a benchmark. The kind of money which I was making in the bank. Somewhere it should come near. That's when I go little. Full fledged. So we were quite shabby in terms of spending initially, but I think that helped. So thereafter, when we started growing, then we said, yeah, it's fine. Now we can afford it. Now it's above a certain stage. So that's where we started, scaling up a little bit more in terms of the facilities, in terms of the people what we have. Yeah. So today, when I look back, yeah, it's a proud feeling. But then the most important thing was I was not ready to fail.
You did not have the fear. That fear also did not hit you when you were sleeping for 2 hours, did doing the work. Never it came in your head that let me go back to my banking profession where I was spending 8 to 10 hours having a good 8 hours sleep. Or it came from family, I mean Vinita for that matter, sleeping only for 2 hours. Does it came ever to your mind? No, I took a wrong decision. I have to go back.
Never, never. See, my face, my everything is at stake. No, I can't go wrong. This is what I'm saying. So once I take a decision, never. So that's where I told, if I have to go door to door across UA, everywhere, I don't care. I will. I would have done it. But thankfully, once we started gaining clients, what happened is, what I honestly believe is once you start providing um, consistent delivery of excellence will help you build trust. And this trust will accumulate and will create delighted customers. And the most important thing with delighted customers, they will work for you. They will talk about you. They will start referring clients to you. Over the years, many people ask me why I've been seeing you advertising a lot. Yes, we have been extremely media shy. The very reason was the fact that I got the comfort from my clients who were referring me businesses. So our plates were decently full. So hence we were shying away. But with the now we may have to change with the way things are changing over. We maybe have to reach out to the clients because there's an exodus of businesses. I agree right now. Maybe we have to reach out to clients, but that was one of the reasons why we were relatively shy in coming out.
You were going from door to door in UAE, giving your services, saying, this is what I do. Why UAE? Why not back home in Kerala or for that matter, India? Because UAE is a expensive place. Let's agree to it. It's an expensive country. Was it a deliberate decision that yes, UAE? What inspired you to stay in UAE, a really costly place, and still start a business and not start it in India?
If you give me a chance to redo it again, I will do the same thing because I love Dubai. Dubai made me, right? The the best thing about Dubai is if you want to do a business and if you're really hardworking and if you're ready to put time and effort into it, no other place would reward you the way Dubai rewards you. Nobody bothers who are you. Nobody bothers which family you come from. Nobody want to judge you based on your caste or creed. It's about the value. It's about the alpha you create for your clients, right? Now, since you mentioned India, you understand how situations are there or how or the general outlook about a person is. So there is no politician who will come here and try to put you down, right? If at all anybody over here comes, they will only try to, put you up. So, uh, I had numerous interactions with the ruling family and the royal families. The thought process, what they have, is completely different. Again, in Dubai, It's like a melting pot of culture, as what we say. From across the globe, every single country, there's someone who is staying over here. And it's very easy to connect with them and do business with them. Even our portfolio is a mini representation, like a like a Dubai population. We have people from all the different culture, all the different countries. Uh, every single day, I learn a lot more because when one client is coming from Brazil, one is coming from Sri Lanka, one is coming from Russia, one is coming from US. So it's a confluence of culture in my office every single day, and we not only discuss business, or we generally talk about. I get an understanding about how an American is thinking about the current situation right now. How a Ukrainian, I have clients from Ukraine and Russia coming together. So we see certain kind of politics, but deep down, there are partners from two countries who are doing business and who are making money still, right? So there's no enmity or hatred at every single level. So it's a great learning. At View, I also learn every single day after every single meeting. Wow. See, so I think if you tell me you can relocate me to New York or anywhere else or any better places, I still believe this is the best place ever I could be.
I feel the same. Dubai is the best place to be. Uh, Coming on that note, you talked about you worked with the royal families, and somewhere you also met Sheikh Mohammed. This is the dream. Meeting Sheikh Mohammed is dream of many Indians and people living in Dubai. How was your feeling? How where you met him and what happened?
All right. That's a very interesting story. Maybe I could share. You know what? I was part of, the craziest thing I've ever done is from the empty quarters, that is from the Saudi borders, from there till Dubai, I rode a camel, right? We were a group of people. It was organized by Hamdan Heritage Center. So we were riding camels from there all the way till here and through the desert, through over the dunes like 300 meters, 350 meters, kind of huge dunes. So we came over. So essentially, what we were doing was we were tracing the path the forefathers of UA came because they came from Saudi. So the same route we were trying to trace. It was one of the best experiences I had. You look like a Bedouin, right? You sleep in the desert, you eat in the desert, you ride the camels through that, through the nature. No business, no phones. So, but then it required a lot of physical, stamina. So basically in the night it's cold, the daytime it's hot. Um, but then it was like in between, to be honest, I had a little bit of thoughts in my mind. Should I quit or should I continue? Because it wasn't that easy. But then I said, like, no, you are into it. Even if I was telling myself, doesn't matter even if you're a dead body on a camel, you should arrive in Dubai. So somewhere, I mean, I don't like to quit. Come what may. If I'm into it, then I want to complete. That's quite in
That's your
my
person.
DNA.
That's your person.
So when we were doing that, Sheikh Mohammed visited us twice. So Sheikh Mohammed had got a very special place in my mind. Whenever I see him, I see a story which he said. I think it's famously said. I mean, maybe at the cost of if someone heard it, I'll just repeat it. Pardon me for that. Let's say, a gazelle in Africa, when it wakes up, there's only one thing which it's supposed to do: run faster than the fastest of the lion. Right? It's a must. It's a matter of survival. If you don't, you're going to be the food for somebody else. Now, for the lion, every day morning when he wakes up, he should run faster than the slowest of the gazelle, right? Or else it's a matter of survival for him. He'll die of hunger. So what Sheikh Mohammed said is, I don't care whether you are a lion or a gazelle in Dubai. When the sun goes up, if you are in Dubai, better start running, right? So we don't really, care whether you're a lion or a gazelle. We don't want to differentiate. But if you're here, better start running. We don't want to be lazy people, to be matched by somebody else. So whenever I see him, that sense of motivation. When I even see a picture, this is what comes to my mind. So I was just staring at his face and standing. It's not like one-to-one conversations. I was just standing and listening to what he was saying. I don't know. I can't even remember because I was staring at his face.
Wow. So still, when you met Sheikh Mohammed, you heard his story, and now I ask you the same question. From sleeping for 2 hours now to such a good company, such a big company, you're expanding, and you are running. Your company is running. This run is of a lion or a gazelle.
I don't care who I am to the time I'm running. One thing I can promise you, I'm running as fast as I could.
Tell me about your business. What exactly you are covering? I know it for uh, understanding the for our listeners. What exactly you do other than audits and other compliances? What exactly the firm does, Dominic and Partners?
So, how exactly I'm placing the company is I'm placing the company in a gap. Now, if you're a businessman, if you're coming to UA, if you're operating here, you would have multiple requirements, which would necessitate you to deal with different people. So, I'm not talking about convenience. I'm talking about a consistent delivery of quality. So, if you come to me right from inception up till, let's say, till liquidation, I'm able to take care of you with the same kind of consistent delivery of quality. Now, Dominic and Partners, we are a member firm of Geneva Group International. We are also member firm. We're members with IR Global, with Vaughan Global. So we have presence in 126 countries. Now, mostly over here, we have clients from across the globe. Last week, a client came to me. We want to, open a company in US. I said, where do you want to open? He said, we don't know. We just want to go to US. I said, doesn't matter. I just called up my counterpart in US, arranged a meeting for them. I think right now they're creating a company in New York. It's as simple for a client who walks in. When we have that coverage to connect them, and the most important thing is the same service standard you shall get there as well.
So, can I say that a person who wants to set up a business anywhere in the world walks into your office, he will get a solution within the network firms anywhere. He will at least get answers to his questions and company formations.
100%. He would be taken care of. So, if you ask me, what's your core competence? We are auditors, we are tax agents, we are advisors or management consultants. But then, if as a client, when you come, I don't want to tell you, oh, sorry, I can't do that. Go to somebody else where I cannot guarantee the same standard of services. So, this is where I said, you come over, this is a one stop solution. We'll take care of you. Leave all these things to us. Just focus on doing your business, grow as much as you can, and we're here to support you.
Do you think having one-stop solution helps in company's growth in terms of your company? So, since you are one-stop solution, is it actually helping in terms of growth and clients love that one-stop solutions?
Definitely, yes. Most of the times, what client says, you guys are taking care of it, so I don't care about it. So I don't have to think about it. So this is exactly this feeling which I'm trying to give to clients. We take care of everything. Don't worry about the compliances or following, or we take care of it.
No.
Just focus and do what you're really good at doing, which is your business.
In UA, if I look at it, uh, there are two segments which I see. One is MNCs or large business houses or family houses, and then the people who like us who has come from different parts of the world set up businesses here and are still growing, which we can categorize as SMEs. Okay, and we have seen the transformation of UAE from non-tax country to being a more compliant country, from starting from VAT now to corporate tax. And as per me, according to my understanding, 95% of, or not 95%, and at least 80% of the businesses in UAE are sitting with the SME segment. You being a tax agent, as you said, how do you think compliance is shaping up in UAE? And you have been a banker as well. You understand compliance in terms of, so how do you think compliance is shaping in the country?
Compliance is getting better in this country every single day, right? Um, I still remember after 9/11, the way compliance grew stronger in banks. So up until then, it was not a big department with a lot of focus. But after that, compliance became to the center stage, right? Similarly, even today, when we look into from moderate kind of compliance, we are coming to a better level. So, as an audit firm, we are supposed to, when if you have onboarding a client, we have to screen you first. We have to do your KYC first, and we should ensure that the client is good for me to onboard, right? So the responsibilities of an audit firm today has gone to the likes of a bank, of an insurance company. We are also supposed to do a suspicious transaction reporting. We are also supposed to do suspicious activity reporting. And apparently, we are also audited by a ministry on this front. During my audit, I was asked why you have not raised any SDR. So my obvious answer was because I screen and onboard my clients, and there was no suspicious transactions which we identified to have reported it. But I'm saying from there, from not having a robust system to we have a very robust system which will question us as well. It's not just about you giving some information to them; they are questioning us back as well. So, and what we could fairly expect is in the years to come, this is going to grow a little bit more. So, compliance is not just a formality, it's it's a foundation. If you don't have the compliance foundation, you're calling for trouble. So, my advice to SME is that we should spend time and money in adhering to these compliance requirements, be it from recording your transactions, by which I mean doing a proper accounting. That's the base of everything else. Now, once you do that, an audit essentially will tell you it's little postmortem in nature, but still we would be able to check whether how your finances are functioning. I'll give you a very latest example. I mean, it's a very recent example. We were doing an audit in one of the companies in Dubai. The owner is not in UAE; he's outside. While doing the audit, certain information the general manager was stopping. So they said, like, we know how audits are done. Do it this way. So me, being the me, I said, nothing doing. You will have to give. Somehow we managed to contact with the owner through by force actually. Somewhere it got me. I mean, I smelled something's wrong. Why should someone or stop us? What we identified was it was a gold company. 20 kilograms of gold. It's not there. It's just not there.
20 kilo
20 kilograms of gold
is missing.
is missing. Right. This is what we identified. They came now. The moment it was identified, the day this guy escaped. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying everybody's like that. When we humans, we can rely, and at the same time, we should also understand that they're not reliable, 100%, right? So this complacency, the portion is there. I mean, a lot of other things which we said is there in this. However, at least when you audit, at least we audited, we came to know that this number doesn't exist. This inventory doesn't exist. We are just putting this, unless I said I want the stock audit, uh, nobody would have identified.
When he denied, you did not think it's irrelevant for me. I'm getting my fees. Why don't I? Why I get into an argument with the manager? He may change the auditor, and you may lose the audit. That you did not consider that factor when you said no, I want to go to the owners.
Because I'm quite used to such rejections and dejections. Because, see, end of the day today, when I look, I'm not here to make that little money by doing it. There is a profession which I love, which I respect. As an auditor, I respect myself, my position, and my responsibility. So, if you are in dire necessity to do something to make some little money, that's not us. Then there are multiple other things which we can do. So, at least in Dominican partners, it's in our DNA. If we do something, it has to be right. If it's not, it doesn't matter for me. I live clients who are not adhering to our rules. When I say our rules, the rules of auditing, I lose clients. I'm happy to lose. For to earn respect, you have to start losing them, right? I think my fellow fraternity, everybody should adopt it. We should not be looking at money. As an auditor, I wear a certain hat, which is having certain dignity. When I sign an audit report, I'm not signing it for that little piece of money.
Power.
There are a lot of stakeholders which are relying on my signature, right? There could be a potential investor who is hearing from within this podcast who may buy another business relying on somebody's signature, right? So it's a greater responsibility than the money what someone could make. So we should not dilute that trust of some stranger who is potentially going to place on me at a later date. So I'm extremely, extremely particular. If we do it right. Otherwise, we don't.
Super. You do audits. You also said you are tax agents. Any reliefs which you can comment on as an SME? Because you talked about compliance, you talked about audit. Don't you think compliance and audit is something a burden for an SME as a cost? Or are there any reliefs or exemptions available for them?
See now, given a chance, a zero taxed economy is the best place to be. Let's accept that fact. Now that taxes are implemented,
Hmm.
we have to adhere to it. But then again, there is some statement which I generally make to clients. A UA with 9% corporate tax is much stronger and favorable for investors to come in than a UA with 0%. I don't know how many would agree to it, but I will state the fact. You're not here just to take advantage of zero taxes. There are inherent advantages for a business, for a investor. Just think of a situation in Dubai, the road, the infrastructure. I mean, are any of us going and giving a request, please repair this road?
No.
Do you have to bribe anyone to do it?
No. That's the beauty.
You need not have to. They know beforehand they have to do it. They overnight they take a decision. The biggest man-made lake they have to create. If you have a property there, overnight you are becoming the property owner of a waterfront property, right? If a big rail station or Etihad rail is coming in front of you, connectivity is increasing, metro is increasing. So all this money which is going in is going to further enhance the value of the property what you're having. Now, when I say taxes, when you pay to the government, they are not going to take it away anywhere. That's further going to come back into the society, be it as infrastructure or be it as any other kind of facilities being given. Knowing our rulers, what they want is the best for the residents. The broadest, the tallest, everything. That's what they're bringing, right? They want to give the best. So when they're creating the best and you're here, your value increases. I mean, of your investments, of your businesses, or everything. Today, as we speak, from across the globe, you find people coming in, right? COVID was one of the best thing ever happened to UAE, I would say. A lot of people who accidentally came to Dubai because there was nowhere else to go happened to see how good we are, how safe and secure we are, right? So even today, there are a lot more people who are coming from different places who want to come here, to invest here, and to live here. So it's a great situation. And one interesting observation I would like to make, I believe you must have been here in 2008.
Yes.
So 2008, when the global crisis happened, we were like the spokespeople for Dubai, right? The media houses, different giving a very lot of negative news. Is we've been telling clients. So there were clients even asked us, Dominic, are you still in Dubai? I said, why? Yes. Well, Dubai is finished, right? Are you going to India? Right? That's the kind of questions which we face from that kind of that level of questions. So we've been ardently believing in Dubai, right? The strength of Dubai. We know the inherent position what Dubai holds today in the world. So that is not to go. But the difference is earlier, if we had a problem in the world, we also used to get into the trouble, right? Today it's a little different. If the world is having a problem, we are the ones to come to, right? So we this is not something which is created. We earned it over a period of time. So a big salute to the able leadership of this country, which is creating this kind of uh, positives in UA, which is attracting foreign investors.
When foreign investors are coming in, considering the in recent regulatory changes, what one advice any foreign investor which is coming in before he lands into Dubai or when he lands into Dubai, you will right now advise saying this is the recent change, please look into it and ensure you remain compliant. One thing which you will recommend to any foreign investor coming in right now in market.
One best thing which I could tell anyone is take proper advice before. Because even still now, we see a lot of people, I think pretty much everybody is a tax advisor today, right? And that's creating a lot of confusion. And I'm not denigrating anyone for that matter. Uh, the way you hear, the way you understand, you profess it. Still, we have clients who call and says, no, I'm in a free zone. I don't have to pay taxes. So they haven't even registered for corporate tax because they believe that they don't pay taxes, right? And now when they realize there's a 10,000 dirham penalty, they run to the the tax agent. Please get it removed, as if it's I sign it off, I'll remove it. So there has to be a solid reason. Not knowing or ignorance is never an excuse for your to waive off your penalties, right? So it's never an excuse. So being compliant means being informed. If you do not have the time to learn yourself, you have to approach a professional. But then when you approach and take advice, ensure they are the professionals who are aware, who are educated about the subject, or they are at least ensure they are subject matter experts. Then take expert advisory. It may cost, obviously, nobody will give a free service, but that cost matters and it would save you a lot more money than other penalties or fines.
You talked about free zones. What exactly the free zones are?
Now, in UAE, there are typically three types, right? The offshore companies, free zone companies, and the mainland companies. Now, the interesting factor is after the introduction of VAT, then we have another division which comes within free zone. So one is normal free zone, the second is a designated free zone. Now, a lot of people are talking about I'm in a designated zone right now, so I'm tax free. Again, that's another myth which need to be busted properly so that it gets into everybody's. So the problem is if you are in a designated free zone, essentially the idea is the goods are not freely moving from there to the mainland. So there's a control. So their customs duty is paid, or technically a designated free zone is outside UA in its existence. So technically, when designated free zone company sells goods, either it's an export or for the company, or it's an import for the LLC company. Now, what difference it's creating in a corporate tax is that there are certain list of qualifying activities. So if you are a company which who are doing those set of activities, then subject to the conditions that you are fulfilling, so there are various other parameters. One amongst them, which is prominently, which I could say is you having a substance. So when you mean you having a substance means does not mean that you're having a flexi desk office there. It means proportionate to your revenue, your proportionate expense should also be happening here. So, is it only about having an office? No. It's about having the qualified professional or the sufficient amount of qualified professional being employed here. And the revenue which is being generated here is having the fair amount of or the actual amount of cost incurring here. So such companies, subject to all other conditions, if they can be categorized as a qualifying free zone person. So on the qualifying income, which means the income derived from those qualifying activities, if that is what they have, those income are subject to 0%. Now, again, one more little thing clarification I'll make. If such a qualifying free zone person, irrespective of the fact that they're sending it to mainland, will also be considered in the qualifying income. So that income which wherein a qualifying free zone person sells to the mainland is not going to go under the de minimis test. So, I mean, again, over a podcast, there are limitations, but don't take this as a blanket kind of advice because every single company, the transactions could differ. So it requires a lot of assessment, right, before we give any tax advices. So that's why I hate to give any tax advices over a podcast because they could say that, hey, Dominic said this, but it may not be for a certain situation. So please apply all these tax advices with your own responsibility, but after proper consultation from a professional.
But Dominic, you can promise you one thing. I understand qualifying, freeing, free zone activity, other stuff. So if you want to do over a podcast as a knowledge session, as a knowledge series, you will give us time, and I would love to discuss because 0% is music to the ears, and for the businesses is also a music to the ears. So we want to understand more on what exactly these qualifying free zone activities are, what exactly substance means. You touched upon it briefly, but still, uh, that's a promise from your side that we can do one sessions on podcast in terms of what exactly it means, because there are so many businesses who still needs clarity. As you said, they are going blank with designated free zone, which is not the right approach. So we'll do something, and give me time. I know you are a busy man. You're
Sure, but
taking
no,
time.
I'm extremely happy, as what I say, as a part of corporate social responsibility. And moreover, as a tax agent, it's our responsibility to ensure that the correct information is being reached. At least the basic information is being reached to everyone. Obviously, more detailed information have to come to me and peers. But I mean, just jokes apart, I'm extremely happy to help.
You talked about corporate social responsibility, right? I heard you do so much CSR activities along with the business and your business or profession. What exactly these initiatives are other than these knowledge sharing sessions which you do for the community?
Okay, how about me giving you a small story, which makes me do it, right? So let me go to the traditional farmer story. Yeah. Once there was a farmer. So he had a little piece of land on top of a hill, right? That's all what he had. So he had to cultivate there, and his help was a little donkey. So every day, let's put discipline and punctuality to it, right? So every day morning, he wakes up and he goes to his land.
And go-getter approach as well.
Exactly. Well, I mean, put all the positivity. I don't have a problem. Let's make the farmer look really good. So, so this guy goes early morning there. He starts his cultivation there. So things were going good. Then a big drought hit the village, right? Slowly the water bodies, the river, ponds, everything started drying up. The trees started drying up. So the farmer was not in a position, was not ready to let his crop die. So what he decided was he went to a faraway well. He used to collect water. What he did was he put a plank on top of the donkey. So in the two sides, he used to hang pots, pour water, and he used to make numerous trips up and down the hill. So he used to do it. He was just focused about watering his plants. He don't want to let them die. So he continued doing it. There were onlookers who were ridiculing him. They said, "How? What a fool is he?" So this continued. So why they were ridiculing was he was making numerous trips. From the ports, ports got small holes, but he never had the money to replace those ports. He tried to mend it, but still, or it was flowing. But later he figured out it's okay. Let it flow a little water, let it go out. So as the drought, the time passed by, the drought really get aggravated. So as the, as the time progressed, he realized no, people are not ridiculing him. So one day, absolutely, he didn't hear anyone saying anything. So he reached up the hill. He just turned back. What's happening? That sight,
How was it?
it opened his eyes.
What was that?
The path, the trail which he used to take, along the side, there was green, there were plants, because that little leakage of water became a life, became a breathing space for small little plants. So think how beautifully the path which we walk in our life, the kind of people whom we meet, if we can bring in any happiness or any kind of anything, I'm saying anything positive, if we can bring to them, I think our life is going to be more meaningful. So it need not necessarily have to be money. It can be time. It can be your skill, knowledge. Forget everything. If you're walking across, if someone is coming against you, just give a beautiful smile. Maybe he's extremely depressed, but one smile can maybe change his mood, right? I'm saying I honestly believe in such activities. So for me, this is CSR. For me, it need not have to be always monetary in nature. It can be anything which can uplift you, which can boost you, which can create joy or happiness in your mind. For me, that is CSR. And hence, since you asked me, it's not something what you advertise, right? Uh, from the time of Corona, we had a lot of our clients, a lot of people here who got affected. So essentially, we consider them as a deemed supply, and we file taxes, we raise invoices as a tax agent. I have to say that, but the fact is, without a monetary benefit, we are still helping them. But this is not something I advertise. Please come here, we do free. No, it's not like that. We help. So that is another factor which probably I could say what we do. Rest, I think it's too personal, which we cannot share over a podcast.
I can understand. What you are doing is creating smiles, and I think in CSR, the first two words is create smiles. I love that thought. Now, अब थोड़ा सा रैपिड करूँगा. What I will do is I'll ask you a question, and I want a quick. I will ask a question. Quick answers should come in. It's called rapid fire.
Sure.
Uh,
I'll try my best.
yeah, I know you. You will rock it. So straight question, straight answer, without any breaks. Let's do it fast.
Sure.
One business mistake every entrepreneur should avoid.
Overexpansion, maybe.
If not in finance, what career would you have chosen?
Ah, maybe from a creative side, maybe an artist.
Artist meaning actor.
I'm creative, so need not necessarily be. I don't know how people would take it, but it's a matter of maybe I would have become yes.
I mean, just for thing when we started off, you were considered an actor, a prominent actor in the film industry by all the crew members in this podcast room. You carry that aura, and you can be an actor for me.
Maybe one more thing. I was maybe an athlete or a sports person because during my school days, I was a champion in the state for athletics. So maybe I would have pursued something like that.
What's the most rewarding part of being an entrepreneur?
High returns and the freedom, as I said earlier, being your own boss.
What's the lowest part of it?
Lowest? Oh, lost in the sense. I think high return is what we chase.
Biggest myth about taxation.
That it is a burden.
One quality that makes a great business leader.
Great vision makes great visionary leaders.
What's the most common financial mistake business makes?
Poor cash flow management.
If you had to describe Dominic and Partners in three words, what would those three words be?
Three words are not sufficient to describe Dominic and partners. However, I'll try. Could be credible, transparent, consistent.
What does transparency means to you?
Transparency means there's nothing, we don't complicate. We try to make it simple. We simplify. Hence, I would call it transparency.
What one thing you wish every startup founder should know about compliance?
That compliance is not a formality, that it's your foundation.
What's your morning routine like before a big client meeting?
Maybe a calm mind, maybe clearer notes about the person, and to top it up, maybe a strong coffee.
One thing you wish every startup we discuss. A book that changed your perspective.
There are many books, but then if I have to relate to the SMEs, uh, Ask Why First by Simon Sinek. Yeah, it's an American author. It's a great insight. Maybe I'll talk about it.
Please.
So, when you ask me, like, if I have to say something to a new entrepreneur, a new businessman, I think first, before starting the business, it's in this book. Okay, it's not something what I'm talking about. It says you should ask why. Why am I doing this business? What's your purpose? What's your cause of doing this? So once you describe that, why I'm doing this, then you should come to how. That how will explain what's the process going to be. So once you know the purpose of doing this, how you're going to do it, what's going to come out is a beautiful service or a beautiful product. And once you have this beautiful service or a product, you're going to that product or service is going to be accepted by the market. So the money what you're going to make is the end result of this why, how, and what.
Wow.
So if you have this understanding, if you have described this really well, and with all other qualities which we talked all over, I think the chances of you failing are very, very less.
You are an avid reader.
I love reading.
One place in the world you still want to visit?
Of the places that I have visited,
No, the one which is in your bucket list I have not visited yet. Want to click.
Iceland,
Your go-to stress buster?
my family, my 3 little girls.
They are so sweet.
The very fact of smelling them gives me a different feeling.
What's the best piece of advice you have ever received in your life?
That is from my dad. Never dilute your trust. No, that is what I ardently believe, and that's what I do at every step when I deal with anyone for that matter.
If you could have dinner with any of the historical figures in past, who would it be?
In the past, you mean someone who's not there today.
Yes.
I'm not interested to be with someone who is not there.
From the present.
From the present, I would still like to, if given an opportunity, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. He is a real idol and a source of inspiration. If I can have a chance, that's what I would value the most.
One thing people would be surprised to know about you, which you have never told anyone. And I can exclude your wife. She might be knowing it. Vinita, we are excluding it there. But other than that.
I mean, I'm not such a person with a lot of hidden stuff. But the fact is, something could be, I have a certain license, which you may not have. Right?
What kind of license you are holding? Marriage license I also hold.
So you could have a marriage license. You could have a driving license. But I have, what I have is, I have a camel riding license.
Camel riding license. There is a license required for camel riding?
Yeah. So I have this. So it doesn't mean that you'll find me riding a camel on Sheikh Zayed Road. No. We have designated places to ride that. However, having said that, I'm saying, since I've told you about the camel ride, which I did, so we have this license to ride them.
And I mean, is it available freely, or you have to go train for it like the driving cars?
Yeah, it's much more difficult than driving a car, because machines will listen to your instructions. It have to, right? It's designed like that. But these are animals. You have to emotionally connect with them. So, and you have to learn. I trained myself for 6 months. It's after that I got to control it properly. So I also have done camel racing. So that's another sport. But then now I have to constantly reduce weight if I have to do that camel racing. So now that I'm gaining a little bit more weight, but then yeah, it's again another inspiration for me to reduce my weight to go back to it.
Wow. One more question. Like in car license, there is a test process of parking, of driving. How do you do it? Because camel, as you rightly said, it's a live element and can behave anyway. What is is there a test process for getting camel ride license?
100%. So you'll be given a camel. You have to. So you'll be monitored. So it's called a shida, the kind of thing what you sit on, right? So you have to tie it. So from there to climbing onto it, and it will be directed, go straight or whatever. So someone would follow the instructor. So they would judge whether you're able to handle a camel. But it's extremely important to train, because if it goes, if you're not doing it right, it can take you to Saudi without your wish.
How do you handle the speed limits with the camels?
You have to control with the rope what you have.
But how do they understand 60, 80, 40?
That you have to control it. I mean, it's a joint operation between the camel and you.
That's interesting. I never knew about something existed like camel driving license. That is really, really cool. Okay, this was really good. The rapid fire and was actually fire and something I learned about camel driving license. That's really good. Now let me ask you. During my rapid fire, I did not want to go in deep, but now let me ask you. And I was thinking or to ask or not to ask, but let me ask you this question. Your father told you, and so far as we have discussed so far, you always have regards for your father in terms of what he have done. Never dilute the trust. That is something you said few seconds, few minutes before in the rapid fire.
Right.
What exactly that advice made you or shaped you in your life along?
At every juncture of my life, this is what I strive to do, right? To maintain the trust. You are speaking to me based on a certain trust. A client is approaching me based on a certain trust. A ministry is giving me the license to be an auditor based on a certain trust. FT is allowing me to be a tax agent based on a certain trust. The day I start diluting their trust, which means what? I'll be signing any audit report. I could be filing any kind of tax returns, right? If I start doing like that, then I become socially and morally irrelevant. And I can't dream of such kind of a life where I am not relevant in the society, be it morally or ethically or any other fashion. So this is where this is where I say that we cannot dilute the trust. The trust, when I am doing my work properly, this trust could be with someone whom I even don't know today, who may use my work at a later stage. So for me, it's extremely important. And especially think of people from our profession. There are CFOs, there are accountants. They work in different hierarchies, right? If they don't have that trustworthiness in them, I think that as a profession, they are irrelevant, right? So one of the most important profession is being an accountant or being a finance professional, because they control a lot of money. If they can't be trustworthy, then I think it's a major problem. So at every juncture, every single professional should question, am I diluting the trust? Or before you sleep, you should ask yourself, how I diluted the trust in any manner or fashion. So I think it's extremely important. Trust should be our religion, and you should blindly follow it.
Have you lost business because of not diluting the trust? A big business which is coming on way, putting you on a dice, saying trust, not trust.
Happily, yes, many times. I can give you one example. Uh, there was an audit, which we were doing. So our auditors, so finally it has to come to us for signing off. So they shared certain problems, so which we called and told that we have to have this. So apparently, our own brethren from the same company calls and offers us a lot more to just sign it off. They said, "You sign it and give it. We will give everything later." I said, "It doesn't work like that." So personally, I thought of visiting. Me and Vinita, we personally went to the big, huge, sprawling office. We had new discussions, but at most of the times, what they were talking about was the kind of additional money what they could pay for this, faster, processing it faster. So what we essentially did was we walked out. I mean, we did not. We said, okay, we will look into it. We will walk right to you after reaching the office. We came out and we decided that we will resign from this audit, which we duly did. Nothing happened for 3 months. One day, I think it was a holiday, I was still sleeping. Vinita was waking me up. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? I said, so I jumped up. I didn't understand what the hell is going on. So it was a news that this person, the owner, has run away from Dubai. So I'm like, these are moments wherein you reinstate the fact that certain rules are meant to be rules, certain ethics are meant to be ethics. Doesn't matter for whatever it is, neither for money nor for anything else, can you never dilute it. See, today I can confidently sit here and talk about this because we haven't done anything like that, right? And we will never do it, something like that. So I think that's the conviction which I have today. And that's the conviction of fraternity should have today, tomorrow, and forever.
Was it the money they were offering that was the reason that you felt that something is not right, or you were getting some intuition about it that no, something is not right that way? Money triggered that, or some intuition or the feeling inside when the way the things were going on, the vibration around when you visited the office? What triggered it that no, we have to push ourselves back and we are not doing this assignment?
As an auditor now, when you turn the pages, when you see the numbers, run over it, you understand what I'm talking about. Pretty much you get something somewhere, right? So the various figures, everything when it comes to goes to your eyes, somewhere you get
Logic works.
now.
You saw the logic
Exactly.
there.
Now then from there, when you further drill down, when you do sampling, when you go, then you get a hint as to where the problem possibly could be. When you try to do a little bit of drill down there, then certain information wouldn't be available. Certain documents would be absent. You will request, which will not be furnished. So you can smell it there. Now, when obvious uh, situations of money being raised and when they talked about it and stuff like that, you can further reinstate that there is a problem. So, yeah, this is how, I mean, any auditor who is listening to me will understand what I'm talking about. It's intuition. It's also combined with documents and the numbers what you see, and obviously the kind of response the company or the personnels will do.
So far as we are communicating, Dominic, what thing which I realized you have been inspired throughout your journey, first by your mother, then by father, then by your Citibank associations or bank associations, all these bank associations, then your entrepreneur journey when you went from door to door others. One thing, you are also a travel enthusiast. Any travel experience which inspired you and which brought a change in your perception? Anything?
Yes, I would term it like traveling within India made me closer to many different culture, many different languages, many different festivities, cultural beliefs, religious beliefs. It gave me a sense of true India, embracing the differences and the sense of being unified within the diversity what we have. So that was more of my embracing the spirit of India. So I don't. So I lost my regional bias out of it. I have no more regional bias on anymore. Now, when you further travel outside India, when you travel across the globe, it further reinforces this belief. It's just moving to another set of place who have a different culture. Now, when it comes to culture, my belief is that culture is meant to evolve and it is ever evolving, right? Think of taking a culture, putting it into a glass box and sealing it. It's good maybe to put in a museum, but the real culture evolves. So when we travel, we learn few more things which are better. We bring it, we practice it. It's given to the society. It's given. It spreads in the community. It becomes part of a wider culture. That's why it's meant to evolve, I say. Now we see a lot of people commenting about protecting the culture. You cannot protect any culture because the culture which we had 100 years back, 200 years back, 500 years back was not the same culture. And in your lifespan, you may fight and waste your life to fight the culture, cultural progression. But after you what? It is meant to evolve. And that evolution keeps going. And when we travel, like honeybees doing this pollination, we are agents of creating a refined culture, which essentially is refining us as individuals and collectively as a society.
Beautiful thought. From culture to sports, do you do adventure sports?
Um, of late, no.
Is this because you are married?
And since I have three kids, okay,
Because sometimes after marriage, adventures goes off and you stop doing it. Any experience which you want to share when you used to do you adventure sports?
um, I've done scuba diving in Mauritius. Um, I've done
Skydiving,
no, no,
somewhere.
scuba.
New Zealand.
No, I haven't done that yet. No, maybe unless Vinita objects. So yeah, I used to drive sports cars really fast. No, don't ask me where and when and how. But now that I'm a little away from anything which is a lot more dangerous, maybe the age has come into me with a lot more wisdom.
Okay. Uh, Last piece of advice which you want to give yourself if you go back in time and look at yourself younger. Anything you want to change in your life or give a piece of advice. Dominic, you should not have done this. Or Dominic, you should have done this way.
I think I should have been chasing whatever I wanted a lot earlier. I could have done, and not that I'm very old today, but the fact is, maybe you could have been more brave and I mean, you could have chased what you believe in, right? Uh, to a certain extent, you would have been, you don't want to say anything which is against the common understanding, against a certain kind of belief. But today, when I look at why did I do all those things? Why did I waste so much of time? So that comes to me. So I think be genuine. Doesn't matter how old you are. Genuinity matters. I could have done a lot many things at a younger age, is what I would say.
Thank you, Dominic. Love this conversation, and I can go on and on. I never felt we'll be discussing so much, but I loved each and every bit of it. Before we sign off, do you want to tell our listeners how to connect to Dominic and Partners?
You can, the best way is to reach us through www.domua.com, which is domua.com, or you can type in Dominican Partners. Definitely, other social media handles will pop up for sure. And when when you want to reach us, you always will find a way to get to us.
Okay. One last thing before I wrap up. You have three beautiful angels at your home. Anything which you record for lifetime on digital media, a message for them. Look at the camera and say that message to all your three girls, which they can cherish throughout their life. Whenever they want to go to YouTube, go to ICAI Dubai chapter, they see this message for them.
Dear here, Tia, you are the joy of a bus life. And whatever I'm doing today is for your tomorrow. So, whatever you get tomorrow, choose wisely and be responsible of what you're getting tomorrow. Love
Well,
you.
I also love you guys. Thank you and see you soon on other Sundays. Thank you, Dominic. I love your journey. I love the way you have inspired or got inspired in the journey. You are an observant person. You learn throughout the way. That is something which I love about you. And not only that, there is a fun element to it which I've seen around you. It's not a dull moment when you are around. Thank you for today's podcast and giving us time. And I see a lot of value
Thank you.
for younger
Thank you so much,
generations.
Jay. It was an incredible pleasure for me to be here with you.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
See you next time for the next ICI podcast.